Welcome back to the Brain Mission channel. I'm your host Brainy, and today I'm gonna attempt to do this CBT here that is called the Language Arts CBT 2023. And I'm also gonna be leaving this test paper in the description for you to download. Okay, so let's see how I would have done if I had taken this CBT in 2023. Okay, so let's see, the instructions are there are 40 items on this test. Each has only one correct answer. Read each item carefully. Select the correct response, then shade the corresponding letter of the answer you choose on the answer sheet provided. Okay, it's clear instructions. So the label below is from the control knob of a steam iron. Examine it carefully, then use it to answer items 1 to 6. I have already done it. I'm just gonna go through and show you how I got the answers. Okay, all right, so here is the illustration or the picture that we're looking at. All right, and we're gonna use this to answer the questions below. And question 1, what happens when the control knob is on 0? I select the iron is off because I see off right here, so the iron must be off. All right. For 2, what is most likely to happen when the control knob is moved to a setting under steam range? So I looked at this iron, and what's here as the key, if you realize the more it goes into the steam range, the hotter it is. This is the temperature here. So it started at 0, then 1 is silk, acrylic and nylon 2. So I chose that the iron becomes warmer. Okay, how many settings are there below the steam range? So this is a steam range right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I chose 5, correct. Which statement is true about the types of materials listed on the label? A, linen materials need a warm iron. I don't see that. This shows that linen needs the highest, which is hotter. All right, it also says B, silk material need a very hot iron. Silk, no, that's not true. All right, what's the other one? Cotton blends and cotton need the same temperature. No, that's not true. Cotton needs 6, cotton blends need 4. All right, and the last one, polyester and rayon needs the same temperature. Okay, so polyester and rayon right here, so that's 3. So that is correct, and that's what I chose. All right, let's keep going. Which of these materials is likely to be burnt if the iron is turned to 5? So if the iron is on 5, any one of these up here, like 3 to 1, any one of these. So which material is it? Cotton, silk. I chose silk because silk needs 1. If it's on 5, it's too hot for silk, which should be on 1. All right. I think it's number 6. If the iron is in the off position, how many settings can the control knob be turned to? I select 7 because it's on the off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I chose 7 for that one, which is A. Okay, the following notice was placed on a bulletin board. Read it, then use the information to answer items 7 to 11. So here it is. It says, notice, students who wish to try out the swim team or try out for the swim team are being advised that there will be a training from October 4th, 2022 to November 24th, 2022 on the following days: Tuesday 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. with Miss Casserly, Thursday 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. with Mr. Chambers. Sign up for the day that is more convenient to you with the principal secretary, Miss Stevens. Permission slips should also be handed to her at the same time. Signed, Miss Brown, Principal, September 22nd, 2022. Note, importantly, no student will be allowed to take part in training unless they are properly attired. So let's look at the questions. To whom should permission slips be given? I chose Miss Stevens. That's what I saw here. Convenient to you is being used in reference to whom? I chose persons trying out for the swim team, right? And the notice was most likely on the bulletin board at a school. I chose a school, right? Principal, right? The notice, okay, I did that already. Number 10, what is meant by properly attired? Well, if it's for swimming, I chose that you need to have swimwear or wear swimwear. That's properly attired. Which evidence best suggests that swimming is an extracurricular activity? Because of the timing, it's not because it begins in October. These are just not correct to me. I chose it begins at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., which is done outside of school hours to me. So that's why I chose that, right? Okay, so let's move on. I think we're going pretty fast. So the two sources below are about detergents. Read them carefully, then use them to answer items 12 to 17. So here's the source. You have this table here. It says detergent and it lists some detergent. Tide, Persil, Pro Clean, All Free and Clear, Arm & Hammer, and Gain. Then you have the price for these and the volume, the stain removing effectiveness out of 10, scent environmental friendly out of 10. Now let's jump into source 2, which has some reading material for us. So let's read. Persil Pro Clean. Though Persil has only been on sale in the United States since mid-2015, it has long been a best-selling laundry detergent in Europe and other parts of the world. Our multiple tests reveal that Persil removed an average of 2% more stains than Tide detergents, an American favorite for generations. While that difference isn't clearly visible to the naked eye, it does make a difference over repeated washings. And that's how Persil eked out a win over a long-standing favorite. Plus, Persil's Pro Clean dissolves faster than all other detergents. At most retailers, however, Persil is more expensive than Tide over value pick. While the gap isn't extreme over a year's worth of washing with Persil's Pro Clean Power Liquid, it can add up. Our in-house survey review of online opinions also show that many consumers think Persil smells too sweet, which may be a turnoff. Still, if stain removal is critical, Persil is the undisputed winner. Let's jump into the questions. It says the table in source 1 may best be described as an example of what? I chose compare and contrast, as it's really comparing the different detergents and the contrast in prices, how many liters that you need to use to wash, how effective it is for removing stains, if it's scented or unscented, and if it's environmentally friendly. So I chose that it's compare and contrast of detergent. Number 13, which advantages does Arm & Hammer have over all the other detergents? I chose eco-friendliness, and if you look, you will see that that's what it has. It is the most eco-friendly out of any one of those, so I definitely chose that. Number 14, which is the same among each of the detergents examined? Volume, definitely. Volume is 2 for everything. It's 2 liters. Let's move on. Okay, so number 15, based on the evidence from the two sources, on what basis was Persil Pro Clean determined to be the best detergent? I chose stain removal and dissolves faster. Reason, because that's what it says. It says still, if stain removal is critical, Persil is the undisputed winner. And also, it did say somewhere here that it dissolves faster than any other. So here it is. Plus, Persil Pro Clean dissolves faster than all other detergents. So I chose this plus that. So that is why I chose that one. So number 16, which detergent has been the popular choice for consumers in the United States for many years? Tide. because it says here that Tide detergent was the most popular. So because here it is, our multiple tests reveal that Perth remove an average 2% more than stains more than Tide detergent, an American favorite. So that definitely was Tide. All right, so 17. Based on information in the two sources, which would be a fairly accurate conclusion? Detergents that are eco-friendly are more popular among consumers. I didn't see that though. That's not true. Nah. Consumers take several factors into consideration when buying detergents. I chose that because look at all the factors. They're looking at, well, the different brands, price, how much it's used, how effective it is as it relates to stain, if it's scented or not. So I chose that one to say that, it's several factors when buying detergent. All right, let's move into another article that we need to read from 18 to 22. So here goes. If you have ever used a WD-40 to oil up something squeaky in your home, you may have wondered, just what does WD-40 stand for? According to the company that makes it, WD-40 literally stands for Water Displacement 40th Attempt. That's the name straight out of the lab book used by the chemist who helped develop WD-40 back in 1953. Norman Larsen was attempting to develop a formula to prevent corrosion, a task which is done by displacing water or moisture. Norman's persistence paid off when he perfected the formula for WD-40 on his 40th try. WD-40 was first used to protect the outer metal parts of aircraft from rust and corrosion. When it was discovered to have many household uses, Larsen repackaged WD-40 into aerosol cans for consumer use, and the product was sold to the general public in 1958. In 1969, the Rocket Chemical Company was renamed after its only product, WD-40. As their product began gaining traction, it exploded into popularity. Everyone loved it. Employees at Rocket Chemical Company took some home. They discovered that it was useful for loosening bolts, removing paint from surfaces, cleaning carpet stains, and removing glue residue, among other home uses. So it wasn't much of a surprise that 5 years after its invention, the miracle substance appeared on the open market in 1958. Today, it has become a must-have for householders. Wow, I never knew that WD-40 meant that. That's a very good read. All right, so 18. In which year was WD-40 first developed? I chose 1953. That's what I saw right here. Which is the most appropriate heading for the article? WD-40 for sale? Nah. Many uses of WD-40? I think so. The Rocket Chemical Company? Well, no. And Norman Larsen? Nah, I think it's B. Number 20. How did WD-40 get its name? Remember from the 40th try? So the inventor got it right after trying 40 times. Right. 21. Which paragraph has the most evidence of the success of WD-40? I chose 4 because it shows a whole bunch right here. People took it home and it can remove stains from carpet, remove paint, removing glue residue. So I think that this paragraph has the most uses. What do you think? Number 22. For what purpose was WD-40 first developed? It was to prevent corrosion. So I chose that, which is C. Here's more to read. And this time we're going to read this article, which will give us questions or to help us to answer questions from 23 to 28. Kevin jumped out of his sleep and sat up in bed. In his half-wake state, he could make out his mother in the room. He was not sure why she was there. It was very late in the night, but Kevin knew he had to do some more revision before going to bed. He was lying in bed trying to get some work done, but it was a battle between practicing solving equations and staying awake. Hesitantly, Kevin walked along the long driveway that led to his school administrative office. The logwood trees along each side of the driveway were almost touching each other overhead. This formed a kind of ceiling through which the sky was only visible in patches. It was unusually cool for a summer day. The sky was overcast with dark gray clouds that seemed like they would burst from the seams at any moment. Kevin looked up and a sigh escaped his lips. His mind went back to his first day of the 11th grade. He began to wish he had put in more work. A lot of time wasted idling behind the canteen with his friends, Javante and Mark. They had also missed several classes. It was only in the last 3 months that he had put in any real work. Had it been too late? He pushed the large glass door to the office and entered. He shivered. He was not certain if he was cold from the air conditioner or if it was the fear of collecting his examination results. "Kevin Burton," the vice principal said, "here are your CSEC results." A lump was in his throat. His stomach tightened and somehow his palms were sweating. He was imprisoned by fear. He stared blankly at the brown envelope. Then, with hands shaking, he began to reach for the white slip of paper inside. He felt someone shaking him. Someone was calling him. It sounded like his mother's voice. "Kevin, it's time to wake up and get ready for school." Oh wow, that was a nightmare for Kevin, right? Alright, so which tense is used in the first sentence for the story? I said past tense. Kevin jumped out of his sleep. Alright. Hesitantly in line 6 is an example of which type of adverb? I chose manner. In the manner of which he did what he did. So that to me is manner. Not time, not place, not frequency. Fear in line 19 is a what? I chose abstract noun. In which paragraph does the action become most intense? I chose paragraph 5 because here, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because that's when his hand was reaching in for the white slip and he's gonna come out and he's gonna look at the results. So I selected 5. Okay, so let's move on. In which line does the writer use figurative language? He pushed the large glass door to the office and entered. I'm not seeing any figurative language there. Kevin looked up and a sigh escaped his lips. Sigh escaping his lips would be figuratively speaking. So I chose that one. I don't see any other here. Alright, so 28. In which two paragraphs is the setting most evident? Right, so the setting that we're looking at. I chose again 2 and 4 because it was evident that Kevin has some catching up to do. So I chose 2, which is hesitantly Kevin walked along the long driveway that led to the school's administrative office. And then 4, he pushed the large glass door to the office. So I chose that 2 and 4. Okay. All right. Let's see. Read the passage, carefully. Then use it to answer item 29 to 33. So more reading. Man, it's a lot. According to a study published by the National Library of Medicine, the average student carrying a knapsack or backpack to school was carrying loads that were too heavy for their body weight. The knapsacks being carried by students at 4 primary schools were weighed. It was discovered that if the students' knapsacks were to range from 10% to as high as 25% of their body weight, this may have a negative impact on their bodies. If a student has a body weight of 38 kilograms, It would not be safe to have a knapsack that weighs 3.8 kilograms or more. Students carried on average over 15% of their own body weight, which caused them to hunch or strain under the weight. This means that the weight of the knapsacks carried for the long periods of time could negatively affect posture and the biological functions of the body. Simply put, this would increase the risk of muscular as well as skeletal injury, fatigue, redness, swelling, and discomfort around the shoulders and back. The takeaway is that many of our students are carrying knapsacks to school that are too heavy based on their body weight. This is causing chronic pain and injury to boys and girls over time, and it is a problem that may come to affect them as they enter adulthood. So 29, which internal text structure is used in paragraph 3? So paragraph 3 is here. I select cause and effect, because I see here where its students carried an average of 15% of their body weight, which caused them to hunch. So it's just a cause and effect of carrying the heavy knapsacks or backpacks. So I chose cause and effect. 30. Which word or phrase could best be used to begin paragraph 2? So this is paragraph 2. Here, if a student has a body weight, I chose, for example, if a student has a body weight, so what would you choose? Tell me. All right. How much would be a safe weight for a student's knapsack? I chose below 10% of the body weight, because here it says that, let's see, knapsacks were to range from 10% as high as 25% of their body weight may have negative. So below 10% of their body weight would be, so I chose D, would be actually okay. So 32, examine the sentence in the box. Use it to answer item 32. And it is also a problem which may come to affect them as they enter adulthood. All right, so I chose connective, as I think the and here is connecting the last thing that was said, which was this is causing chronic pain and it is a problem. So I just chose connective. All right. Which of the following best summarizes the article? Knapsacks are too heavy. Knapsacks are too heavy. That are too heavy are danger to school children. So I chose that. I didn't see anything else that really looked like the answer. Like having lockers in school may be a good idea. Knapsack should be 25%. Students are putting too many items in their knapsacks. I don't see those as answers, so I chose that one. All right, mango, woo-wee. So read the poem carefully and answer items 34 to 40. How to eat a mango. This is funny. All right, so let's read this poem. Silently I watched him like a lion hungry for a prey. Who taught him to eat a mango like that? Wasting time slicing and dicing into pretty cubes. I wished he sunk his teeth instead of the knife he held. As if he heard my pleas, next one he felt with his hands. It was soft, yellow, and ripe. Then he smelled it. Engulfed by the tropical scent, his senses erased his manners, biting into loads of sweet yellow flesh. No time for pretty curly peels. His mouth sucked the juice until the fruit was transformed to near white seed with dry hair strands. Relieved, I smiled at him. He had finally gotten it. I was spared from the boring task of a manual of how to eat a mango. He smiled back at me, a mouth adorned with sticky nectar, his hands marked with trophy of sunny juices. That's funny. Okay, so 34. To whom or what does the I in the line 1 refer to? I chose the narrator. I must be the narrator that's telling the story. 35. Which figure of speech is used in lines 1 and 2? So this is line 1 and 2. I got silently I watched him like a lion. So I think it's simile. I don't know. So let's see what you choose. I chose simile. Which best describes the poet's attitude in line 1 to 6? 1 to 6. I think he was annoyed by the fact that the person wasn't eating the mango the way it should be in at his standard. So I chose annoyed. I'm sorry. How many mangoes were eaten by the person or the persona that was right? So I chose 2. I only read 2. Which 2 stanzas have evidence of climax? I chose stanzas 4 and 5 because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I say engulfed by the tropical scent, his senses erased his manners, biting into loads, and then no time for pretty curly. I just think that those stanzas would have evidence of a climax, like okay, he's biting into it now. So I don't know what you would choose. Which stanza indicates a resolution in the poem? I chose 6. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relieved. So I think everything resolved now. I smiled at him, he finally gotten it. So I think that's the resolution there. I'm not sure what you would choose. Number 40. Which best describes the poet's overall attitude in the poem? I chose ambivalent because it was up and down. It wasn't really, it was, I think, not saying outrage. I think he was annoyed at one point, and then he was happy or satisfied, I would say. So I chose ambivalent. And this is the end of the test. So I want to wish you all the luck. All right. And again, this is Brainy. And I want to say that, like, subscribe, share it with anybody, any parent, any teacher. We can face off and see who will get the most points. Again, thank you and have a wonderful day. See you again another time. I'm Brainy.